Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, we're Mackie and Amanda. I'm Mackie.
I'm Amanda.
And we're the Spooky Boos.
Wow. We have like kind of a crazy video today. It's something that we never really thought we would make, but before we get into that, we do have a couple of announcements that we want to get out of the way.
We just want to remind you guys one more time, there's only 6 days left to pre-order our holiday spirits merch. Then after that, it will be gone forever. So if you just go to thespookyboos.com, you'll see all of our products. We even have sticker packs that are extremely affordable.
Finally!
Go check out the merch before it's too late. And now we just need to start talking about...
Let's get into it.
Alright. As you can see, we're in my room, so we're just like, it's an absolute necessity to set up equipment in here while I make this video, because even when we walked in here, what did you say to me?
Oh my gosh, my heart's literally pounding also.
I know.
But when we walked in here, I was like, I've never said this, actually like I've never thought this, but I set my water down on your desk and I just knew something was gonna go flying tonight.
You knew.
I like, no. And it hasn't happened yet. Like,
no,
I shouldn't say
but
I knew, you know?
No,
like,
but I just mean like in the sense of like, you
yeah,
know.
No. I like, yeah, and I've never thought that. And so when I saw, I looked at two things on the desk. I like, yeah, and I've never thought that. And so when I saw, I looked at, I like, yeah, and I've never thought that. And so when I saw, I looked, and so when I saw, I looked at two things on the desk, which like, I'm not even saying those are the things that are gonna go flying. But like that's what I saw, and then I didn't even tell you this part when I turned around and walked. Of course, like I already had the idea in my head, like now that something's gonna go flying, but I saw that thing on your dresser.
Like the keychain thing?
Like the metal one?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was just like, oh, I don't know. I gotta get out of here and tell you what I thought.
God, okay. So we're gonna set up equipment. We have 2 REM pods, so where do you think we should set them?
I think we should always put something behind us, because
Okay.
I love it when it scares me. And then I kind of think the other really good spot would be in front of the wardrobe where we caught that picture.
Oh, okay, cool. I just want to see if it's on frame. Okay, it's pretty good.
Did you hear the tap?
Yeah, I did. Ew,
Okay,
ew.
the first time it came from over here,
Ew.
right? The last time was definitely from over here.
Right? Why is it doing that? Okay, where do you think for that one?
I'm really feeling by the closet.
Okay.
But if you're really feeling
I
there,
don't.
I think we should do it there. I think we should set up the music box right here and do towards the wardrobe and maybe move the REM pod on the desk.
Gonna calibrate in just a moment.
That scared me.
Oh,
That's the REM pod on the desk.
it is. I'm gonna film for my phone.
That's the REM pod on the desk.
Wait, no, no, it's the one behind us. And the one
They're
on the
both
desk
going
is
off.
going off too.
And now it's holding steady. Oh my lord.
Oh my gosh.
What's weird is that both, now it's,
Which one is it?
I don't know.
Now it's that one. What's that buzzing?
It stopped at the same time.
It did. Yes.
Deep breaths.
I know, really.
Oh my
Alright, well,
lord.
anyway. I was gonna say, now that we have everything set up, we can start talking about what this video is regarding.
Like I said, like this is never a video that we thought we would have to make. We've always been super careful, especially like doing what we do, you have to be.
Oh
Right
my
when you-
god, right when I go to pick up my phone.
Which is why like we did that haunted mystery box video, like we were super careful to do our research and find a good person that did it, like somebody that's safe, somebody that works with light. Like, we always try to be as careful as we can be. But this dig video,
What the heck? Yes.
no, it's this one.
What the heck? Okay.
Oh my gosh. With this dig video, if you guys haven't seen part 1 and now part 2 that's out, go watch them. I basically felt something in Mackie's courtyard. I was in a planter under a bunch of bricks and concrete and dirt, and we took a sledgehammer to all of it, dug up the entire thing, live streamed it. all because I got a bad feeling back there that something was like buried. And this last time we dug, we got a wheelbarrow. This time we were able to like actually start removing dirt.
Yeah.
And we found something that we didn't think was a big deal at the time at all.
We thought it was like a little bit weird considering like what it was, but like we didn't
realize.
Yeah.
So after we posted the video, we've been getting a lot of DMs and private messages and texts and comments.
So many. Oh my gosh.
About what we dug up. So like basically what we found.
Well, what we thought we found, it looked like, so it's a tag on the back of the t-shirt.
It's scaring me now more than it ever has.
Me too. It's a tag from the back of the t-shirt, and all like the, what's it called, the string,
thread.
All the thread from the entire t-shirt is still attached. So it's a super long string basically. Like, and it's pretty thick because it's all of like the trim from everywhere.
We thought it like was a t-shirt that had got thrown in there that probably like we thought every other part of it decomposed except for that one thread.
Intertwined, like tied into the knots were these little things that looked like bones, and when we dropped it down on the concrete, it was completely hollow.
Yeah, that's like, because I was like, maybe it's a stick.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, it kind of looks like a bone.
Yeah.
And so that's what did it for me, was when we hit it and the sound, kind of how bones are hollow.
Yeah.
That it was like some kind of tiny small bone in there.
And besides that, there were these sticks that were like this long and just like super pointy. Like the entire stick was just like a point.
Yeah.
So that was tied in like that far above the bones or whatever they are.
Yeah, whatever hollow, maybe, I don't know.
We have no idea.
And then we also, it's going off. We also, while we were pulling the string out, kept finding like roots basically, and we were like, oh, is that a root or is that a part of the string? Yeah. And none of this really meant anything to us until we started reading these DMs. We had no idea what it really was.
Oh, and besides that, we found this rolled up thing. We found this rolled up thing, and it is like a thick foam. It was like that thick. And so we're like, what is this? A lot of people said it could be rawhide.
It's like rolled up into a tight.
And I don't know. It kind of looks like rawhide, but then I went and pulled out one of Kaya's old rawhide bones, or Sammy's old rawhide bones. I don't really know whose it is, but it's not nearly as thick.
Yeah.
Like, not nearly as thick as whatever this is. What? It's going back and forth. If every time you hear the beep, it's going back and forth. There's no airflow coming from anywhere.
What does that smell? It smells like it's burning.
It does. The candle.
No, like, it smells like something's actually burning.
Wait, I do smell it actually. Oh my god, that was me.
It smells.
Okay, no, it doesn't out here.
Right here, it's the worst.
Wait, it is.
What does that smell?
I don't know, I'm gonna check outside. No, not outside. Wait.
It's like it's getting the hang of it.
I know.
I was just gonna ask if I could step back. Can you step back in front of the... Which one is that?
Why is that so loud? That doesn't even sound like the REM pod. That sounds like a fire alarm.
It smells like fire.
What the heck?
It's this one.
That one? Why is it doing that? Like, there's no reason that should be going off. We calibrated
Can
it.
everything just stop for a second? Can you step out from in front of the box?
Step away from the box. Oh. Can you stop? Okay, what is going on?
Lord. I don't even remember where we were. The
we were talking
rawhide?
about the rawhide thing. Wait.
What is happening?
I don't know.
I have a headache again.
Liz does not feel good in here.
Let's just get her done. Should we turn everything off?
I don't know.
This is consistent.
Okay, everyone make it, just stop. Make everything stop. Stop. Don't go. It went from there to there. Make it all stop. If you don't make it stop, we're turning it all off. Leave it off until we ask you a question. Okay, I'm recalibrating this.
Oh my lord.
Okay.
Kayla's calibrating. It's still going off, Matthew. It calibrated and started again.
Okay, I'm gonna calibrate it one more time. Okay. Oh my god. You restart this anyway.
The second you turned it off.
And we were getting close. They're both of them.
No, that sounded like... That was not a REM pod noise.
I'm so confused.
That was not a REM pod noise, was it?
I don't know. So we found the rawhide thing. That could easily be rawhide, but we honestly don't know. It seemed, to us, it seemed a little too thick to be rawhide, but who knows?
We didn't know what anything that we pulled up was.
No.
But I'm just gonna read you some of the DMs we've gotten.
And we got these to our personal accounts, to our Duo account, on our YouTube, emails,
Yeah.
everywhere. And it's been one day. And so many people have talked to us about this exact same thing.
It seems like everyone knows what it was except for us.
I know.
Witchcraft ladder. That's what it's called. This is what it looks like. So a lot of people sent us that picture and said, I think this is what you guys found.
We had never heard of that before, ever.
I'm gonna read you the definition of a witch's ladder. Oh my gosh, the website wasn't working earlier. I took a video. I took a screen recording. Demonic Paradise.
Oh my god.
That's what this... can I read it? Okay.
Read it.
A witch's ladder, also known as rope and feathers. Look what it does.
I don't know.
Did you see that? Is a practice in folk magic or witchcraft that is made from a knotted cord or hair and normally constitutes a spell. Charms are knotted or braided with a specific magical intention into the cords. The number of knots and nature of the charms varies with the intended effect or spell. A witch's ladder has many uses. Whatever one's intention is can be made into a magical spell into a witch's ladder. It was believed that witches of old cast a death spell over a person by tying the knots and then hiding the cord. Because the only way to undo the spell was by finding that secreted cord and untying each knot.
I didn't even read any of it because I was honestly too scared to. But
I didn't realize how bad it was gonna get. To me, reading that it has to be hidden, that was why this spell was so successful, was because they would hide it and then it couldn't be undone until that person found it. So it was impossible to find. We broke off brick, a layer of concrete, and then another layer of bricks that were thrown into dirt, cinder blocks, everything we took out of this hole. Well, how much pounds did your dad say we got out? Hundreds.
Hundreds, yeah. I think it was 300 pounds. Or 400, something crazy.
An insane amount. So the fact that we got rid of all of that and then dug deep.
And the part that freaks me out about that is the only guy that lived here before us took his own life in the garage.
Yeah. It kind of makes you wonder if whoever, like maybe somebody hated him enough to cast this spell and wish ill intentions on him, and then they hid it in his own backyard. Or what if he made it?
He could have.
Like, I remember your mom saying that, like, he was, like, I don't want to say hateful is the right word, but, like,
resentful.
Resentful.
Mm-hmm. It's, like, hot in here.
It's so hot. Okay. Hey, y'all, I'm genuinely worried about you two after watching this video. From my experience, the stuff you pulled out looked like buried black magic, which is unfortunately a very common practice since the assumption is that magic will remain untouched and valid or effective for a long time. I can't believe y'all touched it with your bare hands.
We thought it was just like
a string.
A string.
No, when I'm the one who touched it, aren't I?
We both did.
No, we were digging it out. You're right.
Yeah.
We totally both did. But I picked it up and was pulling it, and it was like
pulled it out.
Taut.
Yeah, taut.
In the ground.
And you just kept pulling and pulling. It's like one of those clowns that has like the handkerchief that he just keeps pulling and pulling. Finally, it was all there.
And there were multiple pieces.
Yes.
Like, it had broken apart.
Yeah. We just first pulled out the longest piece with the stuff tied into it.
So this person, they DM'd us. You guys found a witch's ladder. Please cleanse yourself after handling it. A witch's ladder is a rope or string that has enchanted items like steel, nails, bones, and possibly feathers or roots as well. They can be used for protection, but also other spells.
My spirit guides are telling me the spell was to mend time, slow the process of decay. I feel that it's binding an entity to the property, specifically in the yard. It's not a human spirit. It feels like a nature spirit / beast spirit. Feral, animalistic. Possibly a familiar of a witch who lived there. Unless you either undo the spell or reclaim it, the entity will treat anyone there as a trespasser. I wouldn't be surprised if unburying it will cause more paranormal activity. Do not bring the witch's ladder into the house. Like what?
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go with my dad.
Okay, yeah.
Like, to the restroom.
I'll go with you because
I'm scared.
Oh my god. Wait, hold on, don't leave me.
Alright, so like, let's break this down for a minute. My spirit guides are telling me the spell was to mend time, slow the process of decay. What does that make you think of really fast?
A body decay.
The banana peel.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's why I'm saying if you guys didn't see our first part, go watch it. Actually, spoiler alert, this has been here for 30 years. Over.
Yeah. They got it 32 years ago. When we first opened it, there was a banana peel in there, and it was bright yellow, looked brand new.
Perfect.
The second we pulled it out and threw it into the other part of the planter, within 5 minutes, it was brown and shriveled.
Gone. And somebody said either if the conditions are perfectly right, then something won't decay, or an animal took that under there.
Okay.
But there was like no real spot for an animal to get under there. Like, we broke apart inches of concrete, brick, like nothing went under there. This has started blinking again.
So the side next to the fence, the brick didn't. The part of the planter that was near the fence, it wasn't completely touching the fence. There was that much gap, but when we realized, we looked down, and it was the concrete. So there was nowhere to enter under the bricks right there. But at the other end, there was that little hole that went under.
Water would run down.
Yeah, and so my dad had that big cinder block covering the entrance of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how an animal would be able to get through the cinder block, but I don't know.
And also, that was like the only thing we found down there.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like something was hoarding food down there.
No.
That's literally the first thing, to mend time and slow decay, and that banana peel was not decayed after 30 plus years.
No. It just sounds so stupid, but it's like...
It's just weird. I feel that it's binding an entity to the property, specifically the yard. It's not a human spirit, feels like nature spirit or beast spirit, feels animalistic. So like the reason like that really stuck out to me, you've always asked like, do you think that the spirit here is a demon? Mm-hmm. And I've always said, I'm not sure if it's a demon or not, but I know it's not human.
Yeah.
And that's what freaks me out.
And the other thing is, we've always said we can get the spirit out of the house, but we can't get it to leave the property.
So the courtyard it connects. It totally connects, doesn't it? I've never even walked around the courtyard.
No, it just goes.
Insane?
It
connects to the backyard.
It's an L shape.
And then one of the last things they said was they wouldn't be surprised if things got crazier after we unearthed it.
Yeah.
The night after we started digging was one of the craziest nights, and we caught some of the craziest evidence and pictures. Like,
no, that was the same night. After we stopped digging at 8 o'clock because we didn't want to be so noisy with the neighbors. So we stopped, we came in the house, we ate for 30 minutes.
Did an investigation.
And did the investigation the same night.
And then this next time we dug again, this like last time was the second time we dug.
Oh my god.
What?
It felt like something just touched my head.
The next time that we did it, we didn't really feel anything too crazy in the house, but we did do we didn't even investigate.
No.
We just set up some equipment and we're hanging out talking. And stuff started going off.
Yeah.
That thing on the ground was moving. Like, it was just weird. Mackie, people are saying that we caught like a full shadow figure.
Where?
I haven't even found it yet. Like, I haven't like
inside the house?
I don't even know.
Because there was one shadow figure that is like insane in the video that like I caught it because it's just so crazy. So I wonder if they're referring to that. But we're basically saying that like,
both times we caught a full apparition.
And we didn't even do an investigation, and I feel like if we would have done one, we would have caught a lot of stuff.
You said that today.
Yeah.
You texted me that.
But we just also weren't in the mood.
But we had just dug for 2.5 hours.
Okay.
No,
yes.
it did not.
And the fact where the light was positioned for that, something would have had to walk in front of the camera that Brandon was holding. It's not physically possible. It's not. And there's no footsteps with it. Like, that's the part that I was like, what
my God.
the hell?
The thing that we caught the very first time we finished investigating in your mirror.
Yeah.
And this room was broad like that was.
Yes.
That looked like it was almost hunched over across the screen.
I'm speechless about it. Like, what do you say about that?
I have no idea. I'm, like, terrified.
I am too.
And it's right when we start looking for the other piece of the string.
And moments after we pulled the string out, that's when you were looking for the bones that fell off. I know people are gonna ask if activity has gotten worse since then. All I can say is that I've been getting, like, the weirdest dreams. Oh my god, I thought it was your thing tipped over.
You can't see my legs, can you?
No.
I feel like I had that flat on my leg and it like went off. Do you remember how I said something was gonna get thrown?
Yes!
Like, I felt like it got pushed off my leg.
Hold on, stay there, let me see if you can see it.
Maybe I'm wrong. But
no,
like,
you can't see your legs. I've been getting the weirdest dreams since we dug it up. Like, the weirdest dreams, waking up in the middle of the night, like, sweating. Waking up in the morning sweating and, like, confused, feeling like, you know when you take a nap and you wake up and you're just messed up.
Where am I?
Like that. And then last night, me and my mom were coming home. We got home at like 11 o'clock and I walked in the house and she was still getting something out of her car. So she walked out 30 seconds behind me. She came in the house and she came running in. She's like, oh my gosh, like I was walking up the walkway to the front door and I heard a man go, hello? Like right next to her. I just feel like when I'm walking back down the hallway, it just feels like someone's like right behind me. But nothing like crazy.
Nothing crazy. And what's really weird too is that the last 2 times I've slept here, I've slept in this room.
Mm-hmm.
And I slept pretty good.
Yeah.
But there was one time where you always come in and you're like, how was it?
Yeah.
And the first time I was like, it was actually great. Like, I clunked out, but I had a migraine really bad that day. And then the next time I was like, I faced this way the whole night towards the wall because I knew that something was in the room with me watching me. And I just turned on my Vampire Diaries and tried to...
So that was the night after.
Oh my god, was it?
Yeah.
It was. I was thinking 2 nights.
Yeah, it was the night that we dug is the one you would have felt weird. Like someone was watching you. Because the night before we went to Bolsa Chica, you had the migraine, we came straight home and you went straight to bed. The next day is when we dug and then... You would have felt like that.
The fact that the day before I was like, it was actually great.
Yeah.
And then the next day, was the day we dug Mackie.
That's crazy. We're just like at the point where like all these people saying the witch's ladder.
Yeah.
And like, what do we do? Like, honestly,
No.
what do we do?
I know nothing about witchcraft.
Mm-mm.
We thought the rawhide was like the really weird one.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, cursed item. Like,
Yeah.
is that what we found? We're like, what is this? Looking for answers. And then that wasn't even the item.
No. A part I find weird is the bones. Like, I tried to break it apart. It's strong as a bone. Like, it doesn't give at all. Like, no matter how much force you put to snap, it doesn't give.
I wonder if we needed to take it somewhere.
Snap, it doesn't give.
I wonder if we needed to take it somewhere.
We just like brush over it, kind of. You know what I mean? We're like, oh, this is so weird. That's so weird. Then we dropped it and moved on.
The way it was all tangled up also kind of made me think that, I don't know, I thought it was normal.
It looked like someone had tied it in there. Because there were the two that were crossed like that. The two bones crossed like that.
Oh my god, they were crossed.
Yeah. Then right above it was tied in that super sharp twig thing that looked like someone literally whittled it into a point.
It's the practice of performing spells by tying knots, also known as witch's ladder. It can be string, ribbon, plant stems, pretty much anything you can tie into a bunch of knots. String. A very simple way of doing, okay, yeah.
What the hell?
Why is it giving me such a bad feeling?
I don't know. Like, this is genuinely scary.
I know.
Like, this situation is genuinely scary.
A very simple way of doing knot magic that I know is by setting your intention for a spell. It can be good or bad. And then tying 3 knots. By knot 1, the spell's begun. By knot 2, the spell comes true. By knot 3, so mote it be. However, the most common way is to make 9 knots, picking up at knot 4. By knot 4, the power is stored. By knot 5, the spell's alive. By knot 6, my will is fixed. By knot 7, the future I live in. By knot 8, my will is fate. By knot 9, what's done is mine.
Oh my gosh. This is a horror movie.
This is like legit witchcraft.
I'm like sweating.
We never imagined that we'd be making a video about the dig again this soon. We had no idea when we dug that thing up what it was. And now we have no idea what to do.
And I just want to go over this because it was very little detail in the video because we didn't even talk about it. It was at the very end, so last second, but Kaya's situation.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. So she dug, everyone can see in the video, her face is completely fine, perfect. The next day, we look at her and she just has this, about that big, just...
Big enough to notice if you looked, but we missed it, like we were rubbing on her.
And it's just almost like a bald patch, but with like blood around it.
Almost, yeah.
It was really weird.
Like a teeny scab almost.
Yes. But like her skin looked like almost...
raw.
Yeah, just raw. And we're like, oh my gosh, like what happened? She was with Katrina's dog earlier that day, Koa, and they were roughhousing. They were crazy. So I'm like, they must have been playing and he must have like chomped down on her face and ripped out her fur.
Yeah, it was like so slight that we were like, Kaya got a hickey from
that's
her
what I kept saying.
boyfriend.
Kaya got a hickey.
Like it was so mellow.
It was like obviously like a little concerning just because like the blood, but I'm like, oh, it was Koa that ripped out her fur and she bled from her fur getting ripped out. The next morning, I wake up, it's this big on her face and just blood everywhere, seeping like fluids, just disgusting. And like, I'm like, how did this happen? I thought she got bit by a brown recluse or something like that while digging, and it was just her skin being like eaten away. That's how bad it was. So instantly I'm like, oh my gosh, like she needs to go to the vet like right now because I thought she was like gonna die and got bit by something. We go there, she wasn't bit by anything.
Do they know what it was?
No. They're like, maybe she had an ear infection, and she was like trying to get to the ear infection.
Like scratching it?
Yeah. But they were also like, if it were that bad of an ear infection, like that deep, this would have been going on for 2 weeks. She wouldn't have been eating. She would have been in pain. She wouldn't have had energy. They're like, you would have been able to tell. We're like, no, she's been energetic, her normal self, eating, crazy Kaya.
She was digging the night before, went on a date with Koa. Like, she
was normal.
She goes to pup scouts every day.
Yes. So it just didn't make sense. We've had Kai for almost 2 years. She's never, like, itched herself like that or, like, created
and
that.
And to do that much, like, I saw it the night before. Yeah. It was nothing. Like, I had no idea what it turned into.
Yeah.
She couldn't do that much damage in one night.
No, it's so weird. It was so little How did it become so massive to the point where it's been 4 days now, she's still in the cone, it keeps reopening even though she's wearing the cone.
She's totally shaven.
It's so sad, but I don't understand how she's wearing a cone. How does it keep reopening?
Yeah.
So it's just really sad. I'm like, this could be a coincidence, but it's just like, of course that thought pops into my mind.
Do you remember when we were digging and we were like, what does that smell?
Yes! That's the other thing I thought. I'm like, oh my god, did she get a chemical burn from something in the dirt? But they're like, no, it's not a chemical burn.
Okay, I don't know if I said this then, because I don't know if I thought about it then. And thinking about it now, bad smells, like how we said it smelled rotten.
Yes!
What is that associated with?
Demons. Oh god. If anyone has any input for us for what to do about the witch's ladder and about the entire situation, please let us know, because like Amanda said, we have no idea about witchcraft or any of this stuff. This is way out of our league.
Help.
Please.
Like we said, let us know if there's anything you guys know about this. It seemed like a few of you guys had heard of witches' ladders. And let us know if you think that that's what we pulled up.
Oh, and one other thing I want to mention. I asked Amanda, like, right before we started filming this video, do you think we got what it was that you were sensing?
I don't know. I kind of think yes, because like the day that we went back to dig, obviously like there's always that thought in your mind, like, am I wrong? You know what I mean? And I was a little nervous because I always have that risk of like being wrong, and like we're all wrong sometimes. And just like sometimes we go to crazy places and we're not that crazy. But I was like, I knew it was a risk when I shared it with you guys before we ever started digging. And then after the first time getting all that brick up, I was like, oh my god, what if like there really is nothing? Or I thought,
talked about that multiple times.
What if it's the cinder block that I was feeling? And I'm like, we literally said, I was like, I wouldn't have gotten such a bad feeling.
Yeah, that's why we decided to keep going. You were saying you kind of felt like there's some more stuff
Yeah, no, I kind of think that like maybe there is, you know, if there was a witch's ladder buried in there, what else is freaking there?
And we only dug in one spot. Only in that corner. This is a 6-foot dirt range.
I was reading comments and they're like, I think whatever you're digging for, like you're not going to find it this time. You might want to dump the dirt somewhere else. I think what you're looking for is 6 feet down. But obviously now I'm just freaked out about everything that we've done in the past 24 hours. But that's where we're at right now. Did it sound like somebody just squeezed you to the window?
That's it for now. We'll keep you guys updated if anything changes, if we dig more. We just need help, so please, if anyone's out there that can help us, hit us up.
Let us know. We're always so careful.
Yeah, we are.
This, like, what if we shouldn't have dug?
I don't know. It's just like, I couldn't have gone without digging and knowing. Like, I couldn't do it.
Like, wondering, like, oh my god, is something really there?
Yeah, I couldn't have lived like that.
I can't believe, like, what was there.
I know, I really can't either.
What are the odds?
Like, there's no way. You picked out a spot, we dug, and that's what we found. We hope you guys enjoyed this video because we didn't. So
I didn't.
If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the new stuff we have coming. And the next video that you see is going to be part of 12 Days of Holiday Spirits, and it is a good series that we're starting out with.
It's gonna be 3 videos, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm super excited. It's really close to me, personal, you know. We went and investigated. Things have been happening at my house. I don't know. What if it's all connected? I'm panicking.
Since when? Since we first dug?
I would have to look at the dates. I would have to look at the dates.
Oh,
because I wonder if it's connected. Oh my god.
Wait. Because that night, Brendan called and said the energy was weird.
Was that night?
No, it was the night after we dug because you stayed another night at my house and Brendan wasn't there. He had gone home.
Because he worked?
Yeah. He stayed the night one night. He went home the next day. You stayed the next night.
I literally dropped him off at the train.
Yes. Oh.
No.
Yes, I swear.
That's the night that my...
Oh my god. We investigated Amanda's house. Do you have anything else to add?
Literally help. Thanks for the support. This is why we do what we do, and this.
Yeah.
Peace.